There's a special place that I like to go with nobody's home to increase my understanding. My daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line. Precept on precept, line upon line. Babe, I can't keep explaining, can't study for you. I can't think of nothing.
We are Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring any awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to the Late Show, Precept upon Precept. We have a lot to cover. Those of you who have been watching the news, a lot has happened in the last 24 hours in the Ukraine. So, without further ado, we are your host. I'm Captain Shem, and to our left,
Officer Thomas.
Officer Zadiah.
all praise to the Lord. Let's go ahead and put up the thumbnail for tonight's show. And Officer Zadiah, if you can read it, and I can help you break it down for tonight.
All right, Precept upon Precept presents the liberal Deviseth nuclear things. Babylon's empire soon to fall.
So what we see here is, those of you who've been paying attention to the news, as of since the last show, since last Thursday, what has gone down is the Ukraine, through the liberals, meaning the Democratic Party, right, has been given authorization to Zelensky in the Ukraine to use long-range conventional warhead missiles, which could strike deep into Russia. And they launched one in the last 2 days. And as a result, and so when I came up with the name of this show, that was before the launch of the missile. So already the things are going down. This is what a typical, this is a typical Edomite liberal, and it's also helped to a basis on Isaiah. Get Isaiah, it's Isaiah the liberal. I wrote, I got it written down. Let me see. Yes, get that, please.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 5.
Because many times when we were in the world, black people, we would vote for the Democratic Party. Oh, Jesse Jackson, oh, Oprah, all of these so-called celebrities. Bill Clinton, remember, he went and played the saxophone and he smoked, but he didn't inhale. And we have given pass to the Democratic Party while demonizing the Republicans, i.e. Bush, Trump, and all that. Not knowing that the liberal Esau is probably worse than the conservative Edomite. Read that scripture, please.
The vile person shall be no more called liberal.
Because they mask their vile, their evil with the label liberal. That's the liberal side of politics. The Democratic Party are liberals. The conservative are more traditional and conserving, right? With a budget and things of that nature. Read on.
Nor the churl said to be bountiful.
Right, come on.
For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity.
And that's what's going on right now. The vile person in his heart is working iniquity. Why? We just had a November 5th, a major sweeping landslide election win by Trump and the Republicans. That basically, for those of you that very, very basically, you've got the House of Representatives and you've got the U.S. Senate and you have the U.S. Office of Presidency. All are majority Republican. And right now, the last, he goes into office, Trump, the 20th of January. So now we're close to December, the end of November, and now all of a sudden, the last 60 days of his term, he's now the whole war. This is the 1000th day, the 1000th day of the war. And now they're authorizing long-range missiles that are going to strike in Russia. It's all some wicked, demonic things that are going on. So that being said, let's go ahead and that's what's going on for tonight's class. It is, we are very close. Do you have a number? I don't think we do. Tonight's content. Let's start with number 1. Number 1. Y'all stay with us, and we're going to stay on time tonight. Number 1. Number 1.
It just goes to show, Cap, that they had to do something before they let Trump get into the office. Because what's the first thing Trump said? Oh, I can end the war in 24 hours. Well, he can't end the war now. This just pushed forward. So when he get in the office, he has to deal with this. They struck Russia. And you already know how Putin played. Putin don't play that.
So tonight, what you just said summarizes perfectly the entire show. What you just said is perfect, because we're going to show, and we're not going to show you black people. We're going to show you professional Edomites with former military experience, with all that's going to say the same thing you just said. If they create a big giant mess, now Trump's got to go in and get messy. And I'm going to tell you right now, Esau knows what he's doing. You think that Trump is actually in control? Biden is actually in control? No. So, this is routers. Do me a favor. One of you tech nerds, get me what ATACMS. It's called an ATACM. We have a little bit of tech difficulty, not a problem. Get me Isaiah 34. While we wait, Isaiah chapter 34. Because last week on the show, we showed you the 5th category, which was a gravity drop nuclear weapon that had significantly more power than Hiroshima and Nagasaki with the A-bomb. Tonight, we're going to show you number 4. And this is what is going to cause Isaiah chapter 34. We're just buying some time. Read.
You want verse 4, sir?
Start at verse 1, then jump.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1.
Y'all pay attention, because remember, you know what's so amazing about the Bible? Is God put in a vision for Isaiah, a black man, an Israelite that lived before internet, before TV, before the telegraph, before trains, before planes, before all of this. And he saw these things in his mind that God showed him. This is the power of God. He showed, think about it, how could he show Isaiah thousands of years in the future? Because God showed him something that already was going to happen. Because he is the beginning. I'm going to skip to that. We're going to go back to the scripture. I'm skipping ahead. Read. I'm sorry.
Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken.
He said, come here, nations. So remember, if I'm a man and I'm speaking to a group of men, hey, come here, guys. Who says come here, nations? God is going to use all these nations to come where? Where are they going to come to? Remember, Bishop taught a class on Mageddon. Remember that? The Valley of Decision. You got to picture it. So one person is like, hey, guys, hey, Russia, come here. No, it's talking about a gathering. Read.
And hearken, ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein.
How could all the earth hear and all that is therein? Something so powerful has to make it so the earth hears. Because think about it. If I do something, let's say if I blow up 10 buildings in Pakistan, they're not even going to hear that in the next country. But the whole earth is going to hear this. Read.
the world, and all things that come forth from it.
Nah, some things.
All things that come forth of it.
Read on.
Verse 2.
Now jump to 4. You was right.
Yes,
Jump
sir.
to 4.
Verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved.
So something that made all the earth here, this is a result of that. All the host of the heavens. Now, what are the hosts of the heavens? Does that mean the sun's going to fall down? Does that mean the stars are going to fall down? It's not talking about things that are already, I'm going to get that in a minute. In the book of Sirach, it says that the sun and the moon, they have orders they follow, right? This is talking about the host of heaven. Read on.
And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Talking about, and we're going to show you a little bit later on, Isaiah is describing something that he sees knocks things out of the sky and it rolls together like a scroll. Remember, in the beginning, he called all you nations, and all the earth heard this, and all the inhabitants of the earth. And guess what? During this time that's going to happen, unlike Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they got TikTok, they got Instagram, they got all of these social media platforms that are going to magnify and show everything. Read on.
And all their host shall fall down.
Come on.
As the leaf falleth off from the vine.
Meaning they're just coming down. They're coming down. Read on.
And as a failing fig from the fig tree.
As a falling fig from the fig tree. Meaning, you know what's heavy about that? We live in the deep south down here. If you ever seen a fig that's on a tree, it's very hard to take it off. But when they get purple or they get that, it just gets real soft, right? So the time of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, it wasn't time for that yet. Now is the time. It's ripe. It's ripe for war. It's ripe for bombs, thermonuclear bombs to get ready to drop. Read on.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse.
So what you got to understand is that everybody going to get it. The people of Idumea is Esau, and the people of his curse is going into, because Esau's cursed, remember? He shall die by the sword. But also, hold that, get me Amos chapter 9, verse 9. And then the tech guys just got it together. We was just stalling for a sec. Check this out, and I want you to Wikipedia me Attackums, because I didn't get that. Attackums, the acronym, very good, beautiful. Article first, then we're going to jump to that. Amos chapter 9. Remember, it said the people of my curse, because guess what? Most of the Israelites are going to die too. Zechariah prophesies that 2 parts shall be cut off and die. And that ain't going to be from people punching each other and people getting hit with a damn 22 or a damn a friggin' 5.56 round. That's talking about bomb flames. Read.
The book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 9. For lo, I will command.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Zadai. Jump where it says, all the sinners of my people.
Yes, sir. The book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
Remember we just read about what it said in Isaiah. That sword, it ain't talking about someone coming down with one little sword that's a samurai sword and he's going to kill all the Israelites. That's not talking about that. Read on.
Which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Right. And a lot of Jake today in the Christian church, a lot of people, listen, I do me. God would not do that to me. If I want to wear what I want to wear, if I want to worship, God would never do that to me. And this is right now, we're on the brink of World War III, and our people, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, and they are completely consumed with white Jesus. They're consumed with sex. They're consumed with drugs. They're consumed with all type of delicate living. They don't think nothing's. Matter of fact, 90% of America has no idea that Russia launched a hypersonic missile into Ukraine right now. Most people don't even know what the hell's going on. Why? Because they're on TikTok doing selfies and all the other crap that they're doing. Read on.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David.
Right. Then he's going to restore the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, we got the tech guys back. Let's look at this right here. We can read. Is this an article, right?
Yes, sir.
This is from actually a couple of days ago. And since November 19th, today is the 21st, A lot has happened in 2 days. Check this out. Read that, Zadai.
Ukraine hits Russia with U.S. ATACMS missiles for the first time. War's 1,000 days.
So real quick, and we have a lot to cover. So that means if you take 1,000 and divide it by 365, it's like not quite 3 years this war's been going on, right? Isn't it ironic on the 1,000th day, the 1,000th day, that now they attack Russia with ATACMS? What is an ATACM, you might ask? Why isn't this all over every single news station on the planet Earth? Because they want you stupid. That's why. What is an ATACM? Read that.
The MGM 140 Army Tactical Missile System, ATACMS, is a supersonic tactical ballistic missile designed and manufactured by the U.S. defense company Ling Timco Vought, and later Lockheed Martin through acquisitions.
These are major munitions companies. These are major weapons companies. And notice that they are U.S. made. And guess what? They have to be serviced and operated with U.S. operators. This is why Putin is not playing any games. So let's see about the range of these ATACMS missiles that are U.S. made and U.S. delivered. Read.
It uses silent propellant and is 13 feet long and 24 inches in diameter.
So that's a pretty big missile. 24 inches is 2 feet, so it's about this wide. 2 feet, you figure you don't got to put it on me, but these are, compared to what we're going to read about, smaller missiles, but they can go almost 200 miles, which is something that the Ukraine did not have before. This is what Thomas just said. He said absolutely perfectly. Why would you wait? He's already been elected president. He's a president-elect. Now, why wouldn't you do it 4 months ago? He does it after the Republicans are already in power. He leaves them with a mess, and now it doesn't matter who you are, how good your idea is. If you already attacked Russia, you set off a domino effect. This is how I know that, the blackout that they have on us, the Israelites, for example, the guy later, Mr. Scott Ritter, Colonel McGregor, these guys should be running all of the geopolitics in this country. They don't even get 100,000 views on it, and the wisdom that these guys have should be all of. They got the stupidest people that are reporting the news and representing our country. Not that it's our country, but the point of saying all is this: God wants it to happen exactly the way it's happening. The logic of what is in trouble, it doesn't matter. God is hardening all these Edomites' heart. Because think, if every Edomite was logic, well, you know that we can't kill each other because of humanity. If they thought like that, right? If mankind actually thought logically, they would, every nuclear armament, every country would disband every nuclear weapon. They would see to it with a committee, and all would go away. There would be no more nuclear weapons. God has to harden their heart to do crazy stuff like this, because this is how it's going down. And again, we actually may see this in our lifetime. Right now, turn the news on, any station, you're not going to see this to the level it should be talked about. This is what we're in. We're in the end times. Read on.
And the longest range variants can fly up to 190 miles.
Now, scroll down. I want to see, does it say something about force power, the power that it is. Scroll down just a little bit. Development. Let's see if it says anything about power. Bear with us, y'all. Okay, so that's right there. So it's a conventional warhead. It's not a nuclear missile, but it causes significant damage. Just remember that it should say warhead, blah 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 blah, flight ceiling. Scroll down, maximum speed. Okay, supersonic. So it can go in excess of Mach 3. That's the point, and it's aided by GPS. So guess what that means? It can be maneuvered to avoid And because of its speed, it's not going to be blown out the sky. Scroll down. All right. Scroll down. Let me see something. I want to see this development. Scroll down a little bit more. Keep going. I just want to see what it says about destruction force. Details. Keep down. We might not have it. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down. Okay. Get out of there. Go back to the article. So ATACMS are missiles that cause significant damage. They're Mach 3 or higher supersonic missiles, and they actually can go 200 miles. And Biden authorized it, and these devils fired one and hit in Russia. So guess what happened today? Russia dropped an even bigger bomb in the Ukraine. We're about to get to that. Y'all got to see it. So let's read this. We're going to speed up a little bit. I know I'm talking a lot.
Right. Russia said its forces shot down 5 to 6 missiles fired at a military facility in the Deviseth region. Debris of one hit the facility, starting a fire that was swiftly put out and caused no casualties or damage, it said.
So always remember this. Russia will always say, you didn't do anything to us. And then the Ukraine, we caused major damage. There's somewhere in the middle, there's some truth. So Russia did take a hit. Not in the Ukraine. Russia, the country of Russia, inside its borders, got hit with a ATACMS super friggin' sonic missile. Read.
Ukraine said it struck a Russian arms depot about 110 kilometers, 70 miles inside Russia.
So it wasn't on the border. It was 70 miles in. 70 miles in is significant. About an hour drive inside Russia. Read.
An attack that caused secondary explosions. Ukraine's military did not publicly specify the weapons used, but a Ukrainian government source and a U.S. official confirmed it had used ATACMS.
So remember what Russia said. This was years ago, if you use an attack on Russian soil with long-range conventional weaponry, it will be considered an act of war. Now, let's see the map. I'm gonna speed it up. Let's see the map. Yeah, I like that. So now, this is perfect. So if we look at the Ukraine, to the north of Ukraine is Belarus, right? Now, if we look where it says the range of the red lines, the diagonal lines, so with the ATACMS, they can touch pretty much all in that range, those of you at home. Look how close they are to the capital, Moscow. And this is why Putin's not playing the game. Let's quantify it. Can you imagine if they had ATACMS, if Russia had ATACMS on the island of Barbados or on the island of Cuba, and they hit 70 miles, and so say they hit within 15 miles of Orlando, Florida, a major city, tourist city. Do you think the U.S. would not go ballistic and crazy? Of course they would. That's the example of what's going on. They hit Russia. This is serious. This is serious. And tonight you're going to see the level that Putin is ready to turn stuff up with. Let's get out of this article. Go to the next number 2. Thomas, y'all brothers, Zadiah, please.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Cap, that it shows that now Russia know that America is now involved in this war. Because we read in the last article that these are U.S. Weapons. So now Russia like, okay, now America getting involved. So now he knows that, look, it's a fallout. It's getting real serious now. Because Ukraine, what's the president of Ukraine right now? Zelensky.
Yep.
This dude, we already know this dude is a fraud, and all he wants is the money. 700,000 people have died in this war, and now he done went in and hit inside of Russia, and they said it had secondary explosions, hitting close inside. Even if it didn't do no damage, they didn't hit inside of Russia now.
Just imagine, Officer Thomas, if let's flip it again. Russia has more nuclear weapons than the U.S. If any, remember they had the Chinese. They caught a Chinese balloon flying, just a balloon, right. And they was put all over the news. Chinese spy balloon. They would get ready to threaten China. If someone took a powerful ATACMS style missile and hit in the U.S. soil, we would go bomb the shit out of everybody. Russia is actually showing some reserve because what Putin is trying to do, he's like, well, maybe if Trump gets in, maybe, but this is why they're doing, like you said, if they hand him a mess, there's some messes you can't clean up. Like you ever get wine in a white shirt, certain things you just can't get that out. This is that's why the title of the show is called The Liberals Devises Nuclear Things. It's some wicked ass stuff. Now, same routers, excellent source. This was in the same night. Now, Putin issues a statement because they got their intelligence that Ukraine was going to be authorized to launch ATACMS into the U.S. So Putin issued this proclamation with a nuclear, I don't want to say bomb drop, a nuclear highlight. Watch this. This is heavy.
Putin issues warning to United States with new nuclear doctrine. The summary. Putin approves new nuclear doctrine. Kremlin says that this is a signal to the West. Russia lowers nuclear threshold. Russia says U.S. ATACMS fired into Russia. Safe haven assess rally after Russian move.
Now, do we have, real quick, number 5, is that a video? So we have a video of the ATACMS, which again is a U.S. produced, manufactured, as well as it has to be operated by U.S. operators. This is a video of the Ukraine long-range attack. Let's see this.
Officials confirming that Ukraine has fired U.S. long-range missiles into Russia for the first time. The Kremlin now responding with a possible nuclear threat. Ian Pannell inside Ukraine again tonight.
Tonight, Ukraine firing the first American-made long-range missiles into Russia. Targeting an ammunition store in the Bryansk border region, seen in videos circulating online. A U.S. official telling ABC News 8 missiles known as ATACMS were fired and 2 intercepted. The Kremlin appearing to...
Remember, Russia's official says 5 were intercepted. So there's conflicting reports. The point is that we know for a fact that partial damage was caused 70 miles within the Russian borders. Not on the battlefront where it's ambiguous. Oh, is it half? No, well inside Russia. And now play on.
Possible use of nuclear weapons in response, but the Pentagon's saying there are no signs it's preparing to do so. Russia already attacking Ukraine, though, day and night. We joined drone hunters trying to intercept attacks. Suddenly, an incoming drone. You can hear it in the sky. The team scours the skies and opens fire. These drone hunters are out every night across the region and across the country as Russia sends more and more drones across the border into Ukrainian cities. The drone gets away as the team works through the night, defending family, country and freedom. David, today marks 1,000 days of full-scale war in Ukraine.
So
and despite...
there's TACM video. Now, do me a favor, get me number 8. So because of the launch of at least 8 confirmed ATACM missiles, several hit, allegedly 5 were shot down. This is what Putin signs a new nuclear doctrine, number 8. It's a short video from Global News.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a revised nuclear doctrine, declaring that a conventional attack on Russia by any nation that is supported by nuclear power will be considered a joint attack on his country. Putin's endorsement of the new nuclear deterrent policy comes on the 1,000th day after he sent troops into Ukraine. It also follows U.S. President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets inside Russia with U.S.-supplied long-range missiles. The signing of the doctrine reflects Putin's readiness to threaten use of the country's nuclear arsenal to force the West to back down, as Moscow presses a slow-moving offensive in Ukraine.
Вибачте, без зайвих деталей. У України є далекобійні можливості, у України є далекобійні дрони свого власного виробництва. У нас тепер є довгий Нептун.
We go back just a teeny bit, please. We now have not only one long Neptune Ukrainian anti-ship missile.
Тепер є довгий Нептун.
Pause. I got it. We now have ATACMS, and we will use them, all of them. So he's saying we have ATACMS. The word ATACMS, you looked up, he's making a proclamation in Ukrainian. We're going to use America's missiles they gave me, and we're going to shoot you in Russia now. And again, remember, Donald Trump is set to be sworn in on January 20th. This is, wait till we get to McGregor later. These guys are saying that this is borderline treason, what the president is doing right now. And if the American people truly understood how close we were to war, it would be the French Revolution all over again.
And Cap,
yes,
notice
sir.
how he said they already got their own long-range missiles, but we gonna use America's missiles. Doing what? Forcing America to join in this war. At first, America's like, look, we don't do this, don't do that. Now all of a sudden, now yes, we got these ATACMS. We gonna use America's missiles. We gonna force them to get involved with this war.
Right, and that's true, because you're right. They don't have to use them. The reality is that America is had to give authorization, because the Ukrainians have a language barrier and they have training issues. The only way you're going to use ATACMS is if you have a contractor who was trained on that in the past, or a active duty army personnel that is coalition forces, and he has to actually fire it and do all of that, or train them for months in advance to be able to do that. So either it's indirectly or directly, the United States is 100% responsible for that right there. And the Most High going to use this thing. He's going to use it. Now, is that it on that video? Okay, we have a lot to cover. Let's do a little bit more of that.
І тепер у нас є ATACMS. І ми все це будемо використовувати.
То, що
The
ATACMS
fact that ATACMS was used repeatedly in the Brunswick region tonight
сегодня ночью по Брянской области использовался неоднократно.
Of course, it is a signal that they want to escalate the conflict.
Это, конечно, сигнал о том, что они хотят эскалацию. И без американцев
And
использовать.
it is impossible to use these high-tech missiles without the Americans.
And it's so doggone obvious that it doesn't take, we common folks can figure that out. He's the foreign affairs, that the guy, I forget his name. We've been showing him on almost every other show. The Russians are really trying to be diplomats. The U.S. is that we're just, not we, Esau is the bully of the earth, okay? And we're going to show you later on today. So this is Smoking Joe. I think he was at the G20. Let's see what they're going to say about Smoking Joe Biden, who's like 80 years. And watch when he walks away, he actually gets lost. Play, watch this.
Эти ракеты высокотехнологичные, Путин об этом многократно говорил,
Who
невозможно.
has said this?
We are strongly in favor of doing everything not to allow nuclear war to happen. It was us who first, during the Soviet Union times, suggested to the United States, and President Gorbachev and President Reagan made a joint statement that nuclear war can never be won and never must be started.
Now, stop right there. When he says nuclear war can never be won, because we showed you before this, what's called a dead man switch. If, let's say, for example, the U.S. would preemptively strike with nuclear warheads, what's going to happen is, even if everybody dies in Russia, they are going to automatically have it launched. So once the war starts with nuclear detonation, everybody's going to die. And we're going to show you that tonight. Now, go to the next We did number 5. We did 8, right? Go to, let me show you how serious it gets. Go to number 9. How serious is this escalating? So serious, you might ask. Routers is an excellent source. This is from yesterday at 8:06 p.m. So this is fresh news. Wait a minute, hold up. U.S. reopens. Is that what I want? Okay, so it was, okay, let's read it. Let's read it real quick.
U.S. reopens Kiev embassy after potential strike threat.
Now, real quick, I want you to understand something. That was yesterday. They thought that it was going to be struck yesterday. Russia attacked today. So they closed the embassy yesterday. By the end of the day, they said, he's bluffing. They reopened it. Do you understand it? This is happening as we speak. Quick read. Skip the summary, Zadag. Go right to, please.
Yes, sir. The United States said it had reopened its embassy in Kiev late on Wednesday after it had shut down for the day due to what is called the threat of a significant air attack.
The news is happening as we go. This was yesterday. They said, he didn't do nothing. Let's reopen the embassy. An embassy is a place where U.S. dignitaries are and other U.S. workers are. If you shut an embassy down, you are going to evacuate them because there's going to be a war zone. Read on.
A day after Ukraine used American missiles to hit a target inside Russia, Russia had described the strike by the U.S. missiles as an escalation in the 1,000-day-old war. While Ukraine's military spy agency said Russia was trying to sow panic by circulating fake online messages about a looming missile and drone attack.
A looming missile and drone attack. Let's see what happened within 24 hours when that article was written last night at 8 p.m. Now, how much time we got for a break, Nehemiah? Okay, go to, all right. You know what? Yeah, let me do this. Go to, I got to say McGregor for after. I want you to pull up article number 11 because we talked about the ATACMS, right? ATACMS are about 190-mile missile. They're hypersonic Mach 3. They're very high-powered conventional warheads, not nuclear. Now, there's another, this Al Jazeera, another good source. Another weapon called the Storm Shadow. Those of us who, from the 80s, we watched G.I. Joe. There was a guy named Storm Shadow. He was a white, like karate guy. He used to fight. He was a Cobra guy. And it's funny. Storm Shadow is the name of this missile. It's a UK-based missile. So watch this. So Great Britain, the white man in the UK, and Esau, white man in America. ATACMS are the U.S. Army. The Storm Shadows are Great Britain, a.k.a. England. Watch this. Read that.
Ukraine fires UK-made Storm Shadow missiles into Russia.
So wait a minute. Hold up. But I thought it was just ATACMS. No, it's both, and both are very powerful. Putin has been trying to warn these people since the 1990s. They broke every damn treaty, just like they broke every other treaty with Gad over here. And the Mossad is putting in their heart to keep pushing forward. No, you shouldn't do that. You got Bernie Sanders pleading to Congress. They don't give a damn about him. Look at the size of that. Go back to the picture. That is a Storm Shadow missile from the UK. All right? And the Ukraine fired those into Russia. Now let's read it. Oh, by the way, this was the 20th. So this was what? Yesterday. The article was from yesterday.
Ukraine has fired long-range British Storm Shadow missiles into Russian territory for the first time. A day after launching United States-made long-range missiles into the country, British media outlets report.
Stop. We got confirmation that they shot at least 8 ATACMS. Now, the same day or the day after, now they're shooting Storm Shadow long-range missiles that are British. So what does that mean? Well, the Ukraine do not speak English. So if they needed support from the U.S. for the attack-ums, does that not mean that the Brits have to be trained and directly involved? Yes, they are. We are living in a time when you may see London get hit with a Russian missile. And I'm telling you right now, we should understand that our God is doing this for us, but we don't want to be part of that 2/3, man. We got to get right, and we all sick.
Hey, Cap, to your point,
Bring it out.
the dead hand that was created by Russia in 1985, that kill switch, so just in case they strike them first and blow them up,
Yep.
that automatically fires. London, all the European Union nations are on that hit list to get fired by those missiles, those nuclear response missiles. America and all its allies are in the line of sight.
And remember, Article 5 of NATO says what? Remember, this is y'all have been watching this, right? The Ukraine is not even part of NATO. So if the Ukraine's not part of NATO, they had pacts, and when it first started the war, the U.S. Joe Biden said we would never authorize. They even said that. Now what changed? What changed? Now the Ukraine they're actually directly fighting proxy war through the Ukraine. And guess what's happened? If Russia attacks a target anywhere outside of Ukraine, it activates what? Article 5 of NATO, which means all NATO countries, including the U.S., would attack and stand behind that country. This stuff is, and Putin they've been trying to, since the dissolving of the Soviet Union in 1990, they have been trying to stop the onward progression of NATO eastern towards the Russian border. They are literally within multiple hundred miles of Moscow, Russia's capital. They're poking the bear, man. They're poking the bear, and wait till we get to after the break. You're going to see this stuff is going to the next level. Read on, Zadai.
Russian war correspondent accounts on Telegram posted footage on Wednesday. They said included the sound of the missile striking in the Kursk region, which lies on Ukraine's border.
Now that is pull up, do me a favor, pull up Kursk, Russia. Kursk, Russian region. It should be right near the Ukraine border. So it's eastern Russia, the map I asked y'all to get. Western Russia. Not eastern, western Russia. Watch this, y'all. Okay. Yes, sir. There you go. It should be in the purple. There we go. So, if we look all the way to the left, the Ukraine is in gray, Belarus is above. Look at, even though Russia is broken down by color-coded, that's all Russia. The purple, green, yellow, dark blue, that's all Russia. You got it circled? So that is in Russia, not in Ukraine, in Russia, okay? So those storm shadow missiles are actually, and that's actually significantly lower than Moscow. Moscow's more to the central portion of the purple. Very good. So you see how they're hitting all along the border, all right? So Vladimir, what the hell are you going to do? He's a major power with nuclear. Were you just going to allow someone to bomb with hypersonic missiles and blow stuff up in your country? What do they think they're doing? Go back to the article, and we're going to go to break shortly. Bear with us. I know it's a lot.
At least 14 huge explosions can be heard, most of them preceded by the sharp whistle of what sounds like an incoming missile. The footage shot in a residential area.
In a what?
Residential area. Showed.
So I thought they were supposed to be hitting munitions and other places that Russia stores weapons because it's a war. They're hitting residential areas. That just imagine somebody shooting missiles from Cuba and hitting Slidell, Louisiana, which is a suburb of New Orleans. That's the equivalent. Or hitting White Plains, New York, which is a suburb of New York City. Or hitting Gary, Indiana, which is about an hour outside of Chicago. That's the equivalent of what the hell is going on right now. And we're completely clueless to what's going on. Right. We are at the, I'm telling you, after break, you're going to see that the U.S. really wants a nuclear war. And because God is making them do it. All right. Interest of time, let's drop this. Get me Storm Shadow video. It's number, yes, sir. It's a short, and where we at time-wise, because I want to get to break on time. Bear with us, y'all. This is a lot. Good. This one's short, and we're going to go to break, y'all. This is a short video on what are Storm Shadow missiles. It's pretty comprehensive and in a quick time.
Storm Shadow missiles were first invented around the mid-90s as a joint proposition between the UK and France. They're a long-range missile designed to hit static targets that are very deeply fortified and high-value targets. They have to be high-value because the Storm Shadow is quite an expensive bit of kit. It does go 300 kilometers, but it costs about £2 million a copy. But it's got a special warhead in it.
By the way, £2 million is about... The exchange rate is like 1.43. So 2 million pounds is like, it's about damn near $3 million in US dollars, roughly around that. You can check the exchange rate. Play on.
Warhead. The first warhead breaks open the target and the second warhead goes through the gap to blow up the target, and that means it can go through between 2 and 4 meters of concrete. It's also very capable of flying at very low level using terrain masking and a whole host of electronic warfare capabilities, most of which we can't talk about publicly. Unfortunately, it's also very heavy, weighs about 1,300 kilograms. That's more than a weight of a small car, and therefore there are only certain aircraft that can carry that sort of weight and deliver it to a target.
Those are the Storm Shadow missiles. So listen, when we come back from break, we're going to show you what Russia did as a result of the ATACMS and the Storm Shadow missiles, what the Russia did to the Ukraine today. We're going to show you a military analyst, former Colonel Douglas McGregor and Scott Ritter, and a couple of other insights onto what's going down and why we as Israelites, we should be rejoicing that the end times are coming. But let me tell you something. Are we not right? Listen, we are closer to thermonuclear war than any time in history. This night, tonight, Akiem posted something. As of 9:15 tonight, there are more exchanges right now. And we're going to go right to break. Come back, y'all. Stick around. Thank you for sticking with us. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe. So much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom. Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Good drink, can't together just to have a good time. That's what we say.
Don't talk to me if you sinning, you know we repent. Yeah, come to your town, your city, we naturally bliss. We got hundreds of men in that purple, you can't even miss it. Can't even miss it. I keep stacking and stacking in heaven, that's why I'm riches. Yeah, I told my brother his time gon' come down, break the code. And I told my brother come out of that scene and skin. Oh, we got so many scoffers and haters, I'm glad that we saving the soul. And I told you better not be wishy-washy, either hot or you cold. Yeah, I wanna go, I wanna walk on.
Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Deacon Isaac here. We are in Jackson, Mississippi for the HBCU homecoming game. This is a very big event here in Jackson, Mississippi. In the book of Ecclesiastes 10 verse 6, it tells us that folly is set in great dignity. So this is something that our people hold high esteem. They reverence these kind of events, which is on a Sabbath. There's a lot of buying, there's a lot of selling, there's cooking. Our people out here with that party mindset, sisters dressed out of order. So the Most High sent his messengers in Israel united in Christ to bring forth this gospel on this very day. To wake up our people in Jackson, Mississippi, that you are the Israelites of the Bible. So Lord's will, we get a few repentant souls. Y'all stay tuned.
We have to live righteously. We in the IUIC have taken it upon ourselves to go into the communities and to come pick up trash in the areas of where we teach at. A lot of different things are going on in their homes to make these kids want to run away and avoid the issues that they have at home.
I am honored to have the opportunity to share an amazing program we have recently initiated called the Saving Sarah's Daughters program.
Mothers often face social discrimination.
We need to start to think better about our futures. Thinking better about futures makes a better future for our children.
This is one of the best seminars that I've ever attended. It's much needed. I wish we could do this more often. There's so many kids that can learn so much from coming to these seminars where they can change a lot of lives.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ, bless Bishop Nathaniel here. Hey, March 2025, we're gonna have a Land Blitz fundraiser. So what I need you all to do is hit the QR code, whatever that thing is right there, fill it out on all our social media platforms, because we blitzing, we need this land. We gotta get this fundraiser done, Israel. I'm trusting you, get it done.
Cap, what's a Land Blitz fundraiser? Exactly what it is. We blitzing for the land. One day, with a large goal, we're gonna raise the funds for the land. That's my goal, that's my mission, and we're gonna make it happen. And I need your help to get it done. There's a link on the Bishop's Instagram and all of our social medias. Click on that link and fill it out. What you're going to do is, you're going to estimate what amount of donation you can make on this one day. On that day, you can also make random donations. But those of you that are watching this video now, we want to get an estimate of how hard we're going to have to go when we blitz. There will also be an in-house event. Y'all remember the Journey to Freedom? This is going to be bigger and better, live from Atlanta. You better get your tickets now, because probably after this announcement, it's going to be sold out. Only 400 tickets. But guess what? All the funds are going to the land. So get it now. Get it now.
Hey, Shalom. We are seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a moment to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. Look, scan the QR code, because our IT, they need all the constructive criticism you can give us. All right? Make sure you also hit the link and help us with our QR code at the bottom right there, PayPal.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe! There's so much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom.
Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Good drink, can't together just to have a good time. That's what we say.
Hey, Shalom. Welcome back, y'all. And those of you should see on your screen what we have. Precept upon precept. The liberal deviseth nuclear things. Babylon's empire soon to fall. In the background, what do you see? You see a blurred camera with money coming down. You see the up in smoke, the Statue of Liberty. You see Mother of Harlots, if you can kind of see in the background. And there is a nuclear explosion. It's kind of faint, but you can see it in the background. Why? Because Babylon is going to burn. Okay, there will be a thermonuclear war. Matter of fact, give me Malachi chapter 4. It is going to happen, y'all. When is that day going to look and feel like? Well, Malachi, the prophet, had a understanding. Malachi 4. Start at verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven.
So Malachi is saying there's going to come a day that's going to burn like an oven. Read on.
And all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble.
So what is stubble? Stubble is created that when something is used for fuel, it turns and reduces down to stubble, meaning it's going to be burned the hell up. Read on.
And the day that cometh shall burn them up.
That's what it's talking about. Who's going to be the stubble? It's going to be the nations of the earth. Isaiah talked about that in Isaiah 34. All right, now, many other places you can read about the waster in Isaiah. You can read about Revelation chapter 6. You can read about many different places about nuclear bombs, but we're not going to get too much into that. I want to show y'all what Isaiah saw, what Malachi saw. Number 4. Last week we did number 5 with is a gravity drop, a smaller scale bomb. This is the next echelon. We're going to go all the way up to number 1. Look at number 4.
4 on the list is the Trident II missile, a cornerstone of the US and UK nuclear deterrent. Unlike gravity bombs like the B-83, the Trident II is a submarine-launched ballistic missile, or SLBM. The Trident II missile is an engineering marvel. Weighing about 59,000 kilograms or 130,000 pounds and stretching 13.5 meters or 44 feet in length, it's a 3-stage solid-fuel rocket capable of traveling over 12,000 kilometers or 7,500 miles.
Pause. I'm not sure if you at home caught what he said. These are fired from submarines. Submarines, meaning you cannot detect them from the surface. They can dive deep into the bottom of the oceans. That means they can park them off the coast of a continent and still hit 7,000. They can hit anywhere in the world, and this is only the fourth most powerful nuclear bomb. Wait, now I'm just going to be quiet. I'm trying to refrain myself. Look at the power of one of the warheads that comes out of it. Watch this, y'all. Really listen to what they're saying.
This incredible range allows it to strike targets virtually anywhere on the globe, from submarines hidden deep beneath the ocean's surface. What truly sets the Trident II apart is its use of multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, or MIRVs.
Pause. Remember, re-entry vehicles, re-entry vehicles. Re-entry vehicles are controlled. Later on, it's going to come up. Read.
Each missile can carry up to 8 nuclear warheads, typically the W-88, each with a yield of 475 kilotons. That's about 30 times the power of the Hiroshima bomb for each warhead. This means a single Trident II missile can deliver devastating blows to multiple targets across a wide area, effectively multiplying its destructive capability.
I have to speak on this. So if we look at the first mushroom, you see Mount Everest is the tallest mountain on Earth, right? Then if you look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those were atomic bombs that were dropped in 1945, nearly 79 years ago. One of those warheads one of the 8 warheads of one Trident II missile has significant more power than what was dropped. And by the way, what was dropped in World War II ended the war. Okay? And if you Google it, you can see that affected them for decades in Japan, the islands of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's written about in the Bible in Revelation. Okay? There's a second woe. Now, play on.
The missile's guidance system is highly advanced, combining astro-inertial navigation with GPS updates to ensure remarkable accuracy. It's capable of hitting within 100 meters of its target after traveling thousands of miles. The Trident II is deployed on Ohio-class submarines for the U.S. Navy and Vanguard-class submarines for the Royal Navy, providing a stealthy and survivable second strike capability that is crucial for nuclear deterrence. To grasp the potential impact of this weapon, imagine a single Trident II missile launched toward Moscow, with all 8 warheads targeting the same area for maximum effect. The combined explosive yield would be approximately 3.8 megatons of TNT. Upon detonation as an airburst, the immediate fireball would engulf an area over 10 square kilometers.
Just real quick, I want you to keep in perspective that this one Trident II, what he's talking about when he's speaking about the detonation power, this is just one of the warheads of the one Trident II. This is why once you launch one significant nuclear bomb, you don't attack one. You're coming with dozens and dozens and dozens of times the power in more strikes than Hiroshima and Nagasaki with just one warhead. So if you launch one and kill 12 million people in the U.S., what the hell you think the U.S. is going to do? You killed 6 million people in Russia. No, everything's going to end. Everything is going to end. These people are creating death, and God's doing all that. When the bombs drop, everything gonna burn. That's why Malachi said, the days come when the shall burn like an oven. Not just Cincinnati, not just parts of lower Russia. Every major place is gonna burn. You're gonna see it. Play on.
To 4 square miles, vaporizing everything within its radius. Buildings would be obliterated within an 11-kilometer or close to 7-mile radius, flattening much of the city center. Thermal radiation would cause third-degree burns to anyone within 22 kilometers, or close to 14 miles from ground zero, covering an area of over 1,500 square kilometers or 580 square miles. The human cost would be staggering, estimated at over 2.8 million immediate fatalities and 4.6 million injuries. And remember, this is from just one Trident II missile.
This is from one Trident II missile. And now watch what he says. I had to listen to the words that they say, because if this hit New York, this is the one Trident II being launched, and one of the 8 heads hitting kills almost 3 million and injures another. When it says injures, you're not going to have a little cut in you're not going to be walking. Another almost 4.5 million more. And this is only the number 4 most powerful nuclear weapon. Play on.
The United States operates 14 Ohio-class nuclear submarines, each capable of carrying up to 20 Trident II missiles. That adds up to 280 Trident II missiles lurking in the depths of the oceans. With each missile carrying up to 8 warheads at 475 kilotons apiece, we're looking at a total of 2,240 nuclear warheads. If you calculate...
That's just from submarines, y'all. That's just from the U.S. Army's, Navy's submarines. That doesn't even include all the ones the UK has. That doesn't include all of the calibers of Russia. This is just the U.S. Navy's submarine nuclear capacity. This is why when the bombs drop at a nuclear level, it is the end of the world as you know it. So this is why we got to really, we should all be like, damn, I need to fix this and that. We all got issues. Play.
Combined explosive power, it amounts to an astonishing 1,064 megatons of TNT. That's the equivalent of over 70,000 Hiroshima bombs worth of destructive energy concealed beneath the sea. This immense force is constantly on patrol, ready to be unleashed.
They said 70,000 times the destructive force as Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's just in one branch of the U.S. military, and only in submarines. That does not include destroyers and aircraft carriers. That does not include silo bunkers in the U.S. that are dug below. So just to go to show you that the Most High is a master. Why would, if the white man loves his people, which he does, right? Why would a white country in the U.S. want to go to war and kill hundreds of millions of white Russian citizens? God is getting into their hearts, making them go against each other. The same way he made Pharaoh harden his heart. The Egyptian advisors, I don't give a damn what you got to say. That the certain men that have the power to make decisions in council, the Lord is visiting them and making them do these things, whether they want to or not. Logically, it makes no sense. Get me Scott Ritter. I believe it's Scott Ritter. We're going to spend some time on this. And y'all watch other non-American news stations. Please watch them. Look at the articles. This guy, now, he's a former UN weapons inspector, meaning he worked for the beast. He was the one inspecting weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And now he's speaking about the evil, what's going on. And by the way, why isn't he on NBC and all these different? Because this guy, they never let him get millions of views. He stays under very low views because he knows more than all these people. Their own Edomite former guys that are top guys, they don't let their voices be heard. Listen to what this guy's got to say.
Let's transition over to Russia and Ukraine. What did Russia fire at Ukraine today, and what is the significance of the Russian use of this weapon?
Well, first of all, we don't know what Russia fired. When Vladimir Putin gave his address, I think it took everybody but the most read-in intelligence officials by surprise. He announced a new missile, the Oreshnik. It means hazel. Interesting name because hazel is the wood that the Russians used to use to carve the cudgel that they used to beat, non-compliant workers into submission. So the implication is that this is a cudgel that Russia will be using to beat the West into submission. It's as described by Vladimir Putin, it's a medium-range missile, and that's an important term. Generally speaking, medium-range missiles have a range between 1,000 and 3,000 kilometers, which means it's not an intercontinental.
Pause. Google the translation or the conversion between 3,000 kilometers into miles. I believe it's like 1,800 miles, something like that. 19, something like that. So remember, the Storm Shadow missiles and the ATACMS only have 190 miles. This one is the next level of long range. So these missiles are a different level of hypersonic missiles, supersonic. They can go 1,864 miles. So guess what? They can touch all of the Ukraine. They can start to get into Europe. And these are non-nuclear hypersonic missiles. He just fired one today. And guess what? And they've got munition bases in Poland. And if they fire missiles from outside the Ukraine, or they're using other strategic points to launch missiles, now Putin will strike those. As soon as that happens, Article 5 goes into effect. All the NATO's at war with Russia. Y'all got to see this. This happened today. Today. Okay? Let's play on with Scott Reddick. Play games if y'all want to. Play games.
Missile. The Ukrainians had identified it as an intercontinental ballistic missile, in particular identified it as what's known as an RS-26 Rubieж or Frontier missile system. What's interesting in saying that is that the United States notified Ukraine that Russia was preparing to launch a missile and shared satellite imagery with the Ukrainians. Apparently, they didn't share the highly sensitive other intelligence that the United States had, which led them to know that this wasn't an RS-26. This was an experimental missile by Russia. But the Ukrainians looked at the image and they called it an RS-26, which means that whatever was on the stand at the Kapustin Yar Missile Test Facility looks like an RS-26. That means it's a road mobile system with 6 axles. It uses a launch canister.
Zadiah, when something has 6 axles, please, you drive trucks. What they saw on satellites was a vehicle with 6 axles. Can you expound upon that?
Yes, sir. That's when you say 6 axles, axles is what the tires are on. That's something that is used to put it in position to get it close to where it needs to be, so they can get in position to strike exactly where they need to strike. It'll be within the distance of where it needs to be. That's what they saw.
So they saw a truck. Let's put it this way: if you have a truck, let's say an 18-wheeler, that has 1, 2, 3, 4 axles. No, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 5 axles on an 18-wheeler, right?
Right.
You got 8 on the front, right? The front axle, then 2 on the actual the semi. Then it's another 2 axles for. So an 18-wheeler has 5 axles and 18 wheels. What they saw on satellite that Putin launched out had 6 axles. Mm-hmm. Y'all got to understand. That's something that's moving something that's so immense, okay? And it goes, and then it fired up to 1,864 miles. That was fired today. That is the same capacity that you can launch a nuclear warhead with. Russia's saying, we could have touched you with nuclear. We did it with conventional. That's today. So, again, the hardened heart of the U.S., they keep shooting storm shadows. They keep shooting attack missiles. They're going to keep firing back. All right? Good, Thomas.
Yes, sir. To your point, Cap, it's not something you can escape. If you're listening to the devastating power of these nukes, these are weapons that you won't be able to go run into a bunker. You won't be able to hide in your closet. I mean, it's covering so much ground so fast that wherever you are, what you're doing, you won't be able to escape it. And they have a scripture for that. There's only one way to escape it. That's Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4. Our Lord and Savior told us exactly how to avoid being burned up when these nuclear warheads start hitting, because they will hit. I can get that Revelation 18 and 4.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues.
Those plagues is that nuclear fire. And he said come out, you mean you have to keep the commandments. You have to come out of the ways of America. The way we've been living here in America is not going to save you from what's to come. There is the amount of money that you have, no connections that you have that will save you from the destruction to come. You have to come out of the ways of America and keep God's commandments.
That's right. Thomas, you about to say something.
No, I wasn't about to say nothing, Cap.
Okay, all praise it. Look, so let's get back to Scott Ritter. Remember, we read before that there were re-entry vehicles when the IBCMs. So the U.S. got imagery. Hey, we can see there's 6 axles. The Ukraine's like, that's got to be this, because they mistaken it for an IBCM. What this was a mid-range missile up to 3,000 kilometers, but it was fired, and these hypersonic missiles can have the capacity to drop nuclear warhead. Putin just says, I can touch you, I'll touch you again. You want to mess with me with a storm shadow? I'm going to drop a doggone hypersonic, and I'm going to show you I could touch you. And that's what he did today. And I'm going to tell you, there's some fear in these Edomites, what he's about to get into. Play on.
And it has certain dimensions. So what I believe this is a modification of the RS-26, maybe only using the RS-26 as a 2-stage missile. This might only be a 1-stage, using the first stage with a maneuvering warhead bus. This warhead bus, at least as fired against the Dnipro factory, had 6 independently targeted missiles. But what's interesting about this is each...
Pause. Remember, we showed you the Trident 2. Remember that? That's a hypersonic missile that had 8 warheads. So Putin is using very advanced conventional warheads that doesn't have nuclear heads, but they can insert nuclear warheads on these style missiles. Putin didn't take that off the shelf yet. He said, oh, wait a minute. I told y'all mother effers, don't shoot long-range missiles. They touched multiple parts of Russia. He said, I'm going to show you what I can flex on. He shot a hypersonic missile that had 6 heads that went and acted like a nuclear missile and touched a whole lot of places. Now, again, we're about 2 hardened steps away from the Biden administration and the dumb prime minister in the UK to sending the first nuclear bomb drop. And guess what? Christ said, no man know the time. We don't know when it's going to happen. We have to get right. And listen, everyone in this room, everyone that's watching, we strive to be righteous, but we are sick. We are sick, and we have to do better. I have to do better. You have to do better. We want to be protected like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We want to be protected like Jonah. We want to be protected like our forefathers who were delivered in that day, right? We want that. We want to come out of her and not be partakers of her plagues. Play on. We almost done with this one.
Independently targeted warheads. Each of these warheads had at least 6 large submunitions. So basically, 6 warheads came in, released 6 submunitions each, and there were 36 saturation impacts on the Dnipro factory. Now, the factory that was struck is an old Soviet-era factory. The Yuzhmash facility used to produce intercontinental ballistic missiles for the Soviet Union. Now it's being used, it was being used, by the United States and Great Britain and Ukraine to build for the Ukrainians short-range and intermediate-range missiles that would be.
What Russia destroyed with that missile is a former Soviet Union factory that the U.S. and other forces were using to create mid-range missiles for the Ukraine. So what Putin did, unlike the dumb Netanyahu, he actually striking military facilities. He's not hitting residential neighborhoods. Okay, so these are things to keep in mind. Putin is, not that I'm pro-Russia, not that we're pro-Russia, showing you Putin understands that once he launches that, there's no going back.
Right.
And Russians are not pushovers. That's the thing. Just like the U.S. is not a pushover. Russia is not someone to play with. And we got some really dumb people that are in office. That's my carnal position. But those dumb people are having their heart hardened by God. Because if everybody was logical and did the right sequential thing, we'd ban all nuclear weapons, you dispose of them or lock them somewhere where they couldn't go off, and we just have a peaceful world. God has to have these people be crazy to do the stupid-ass things that they're doing. Why? Because he's going to bring the end using his enemies to kill each other. And the Arabs are what's going to happen is he's going to use Netanyahu and the Israelis in that section, the dragons of Arabia, they're going to rise up in wrath, and all of them is going to meet, and they're going to beef in the valley of decision. And all of it's going to come to an end. I don't know exactly what order it's going to be, but all that's coming. And it's the Most High is moving all the pieces around the board right now. Go ahead, Zadai. Somebody had something to say.
I was just going to say, it just goes to show how evil America is and how they trying to push this agenda. Here it is. Putin had a interview with Tucker Carlson. How he was saying how he always was trying to do business with America. He always wanted to be a part of NATO. He never wanted this, but for some reason, America always singled out Russia. So it just goes to show that no matter what Putin tries to do, America is going to always force themselves upon him. They're going to force him to have a nuclear war with them. It's no other way.
And that's because the Most High wanted it from the very beginning. Get Isaiah 46. Say was going to come back to this. There is nothing that we can do. There is nothing that the Egyptian cabinet could have done during the time of the Exodus. Nothing that they could say. They got the word, and there's nothing when they say, okay, we did a video 2 weeks ago, when the president is going to have 5 minutes to make the decision. Mr. President, you can do game card B or game card A. Mr. President, you have to make a decision. Mr. President, you have 3 minutes. Mr. President, you have to make a decision. And is he going to shoot 10 nuclear missiles to the west coast of Russia? Or is he going to, and once that happens, they have the satellite imagery to understand what's happening. They have the backup. Once one nuclear bomb hits, it's going to be the end. He's going to say it, okay? You got it?
You want verse 10, Cal?
I don't know. What does it say?
Declaring in from the beginning.
That's 9 and 10.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 9. Remember the former things of old.
Remember the former things of old. Read.
For I am God.
So this is why many times, you may say to yourself, damn, why does this have to happen to me? Why did I lose my car? Why am I getting evicted in my house? Why I got in an accident? Why my wife left me? Why my son got afflicted? Why my daughter got this? Why my son died? All these things happen to you and weigh your heart heavy. But the Lord ordained everything. So you have to understand that everything you're going through is a trial in this captivity. But watch what the Most High said. Read.
For I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me.
Nobody like the Most High. Read on.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
So he declared what's going to happen in the valley of decision, Mageddon. He decided what's going to happen tonight as we speak, and today earlier when Putin launched that missile. Okay, the super. He ordained that thing from before he said, "Let there be light." That's the power. And if you try to actually wrap your mind, you will go crazy. Think, well, how is that logic? Well, physics, and how does it? How it doesn't matter what we think. Read on.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
Tomorrow, we don't know what's going to happen, but God does. And that's the thing that we have to keep in mind, that you might say, well, how is he going to take all the power Esau got, right? And all the advantages they have throughout the world. How would he use someone like myself that is fearful if I'm driving with full registration? I know, Nehemiah, full registration, fully legal, and I'm worried about getting pulled over. I have no power. You have no power. And he's going to use us and fight a war for us so that we can take over and rule the nations? That doesn't make any sense. Again, we got to stop thinking like carnal men. Read on.
Saying, my counsel shall stand.
Right, read on.
And I will do all my pleasure.
So, unfortunately, we went into slavery, and God enjoyed that. He taught us a lesson. In the same way he took us in slavery, he's going to bring us out, and he's going to destroy the nations. He's going to use Esau on Esau, white on white crime, to bring in the Third World War. Isn't that ironic? It's amazing. Now, go back to the video. Yep.
Launch long-range strikes inside Russia. So Russia just took that factory out. It no longer functions. The missile that they used is nuclear capable, and this is important. It is a nuclear capable system that used a conventional warhead, but could be used for nuclear purposes. And Putin basically said that this missile now can cover all of Europe, and that in the future he will mirror every action by Ukraine in the West, that any escalation will immediately be responded to, So anybody who thought that Russia was bluffing, that you could call Russia's bluff, has now been put on notice that Russia is not bluffing. This is a major escalation. This is bringing in a new category of weapons. It is a qualitative advance, and it has put us dangerously down the path towards nuclear conflict
So this is what's going on today. Now, let's go to Colonel McGregor. There's 2 timestamps. This is, I know that, well, a lot of you, I actually like listen to these guys. If you don't really understand the overall picture, it's a lot what they're saying, but just try to extract the underlying message from when you listen to these men speak. 6:18.
I can sum it up quick, Cap. I can tell you exactly what they're saying that people don't understand. What he's saying is this war done escalated. At first, it was little missiles. It was on the ground combat. Now we not doing that no more. Now we using long range missiles and short range missiles. That means that's a lot more devastation. And a lot more people gonna start dying. And after these missiles, there's nothing else to go to but nukes. So that's what they're talking about. That war has escalated to a different level now.
And to the point where you would think that all of these political officials and these smart people in Congress and the Senate, that they could come to some sort of diplomatic resolution. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. That's the genius of God. All of these smart people with high IQs and get paid hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars a year, and you can't come up with a logical diplomatic resolution. It doesn't matter. This is why we have the advantage as Israelites. We understand this is supposed to happen, right? Now, we're going to close out with this. This is going to take about 15 minutes. Listen to, this is the same judge, and this is from today, by the way. I didn't get this in until like 5, 6 tonight. This interview happened today. Play.
Colonel, let's transition over to Ukraine and Russia. What did the Russians fire at Ukraine today that appears to be different, unique, very powerful, very threatening, or very ominous?
Now, this is a very important question. We have multiple reports coming in, and unfortunately, I do not have access to the information that I could have normally received from the intelligence community. They probably have very definite answers to that question. The first reports that came in suggested either an intercontinental ballistic missile or an intermediate range ballistic missile. Hypersonic, which means above Mach 5, could have been Mach 7. You're talking about potentially even going higher than that. And these warheads moving at thousands of feet per second. In other words, these are hypersonic missiles that no weapons that we have in our inventory today can stop. They carried, fortunately, conventional warheads. This means these ballistic missiles left their launching pad and then went into high orbit and then came down and struck these targets. In one case, it may have been a new hypersonic missile that traveled at very low altitude and then struck the target.
Pause. Traditional hypersonic missiles have a trajectory that goes like this. Put the camera on me real quick. He's saying that they go into orbit, a very, very high trajectory, and come back down. He said they have new hypersonic missiles that fly at low altitude, showing you this thermonuclear war. Remember, we showed you the Trident 2 is launched from submarines. We showed you last week this gravity-fed, they can drop dozens from planes. This one here is a intercontinental ballistic missiles that can use non-nuclear warheads that can fly really high up into space and back down, or fly low. And he said the U.S. does not have the technology to stop it. And that's what Putin lost on the Ukraine. And by the way, he already said the U.S. and the U.K. are now involved in the conflict. Why? Because once and these dumbasses are so stupid, they publicize, yes, we said that the storm shadows are from Britain and the, what's it called, the acronym? ATACMS were U.S. Both hit multiple parts of Russia, multiple parts. One was in the southern residential region of Russia, not a military facility like Putin destroyed in the Ukraine. It's inevitable, y'all. Buckle up and get ready. Get ready. Play.
The details. The point is, this is a clear and unambiguous signal from President Putin and the Russian state to the United States and the West. Stop what we are doing right now. Do not attack the Russian homeland. This war is effectively at an end. Let it end. Don't try to perpetuate this, because if you continue down this road, you will find yourselves at war with the Russian state and the Russian people. That means that those weapons that were used could be nuclear warheads, multiple independently targeted reentry.
Pause. When you looked at the Trident 2, remember the Trident 2, it showed you that it had one missile launched from a submarine and then up to 8 warheads. The same missile that they launched, the same style, they can outfit that with what? Nuclear warheads. Do you, like, we don't understand, like, this happened today. Y'all, we got to get ready, man. We really got to get ready. I hope that everybody's at home understand, and I'm using fear tactics. We better get ready, okay? You have people that the Mossad is using that don't give a damn. They are going to do the Mossad will. And do we want the bombs to come? Well, I know I don't, because I don't think I'm ready yet. Give me Amos chapter 5. Are you ready yet? I'm not ready. Are you ready? We better get ready. Amos chapter 5. It's 17 to 18. Y'all, this is very, very important. The next week or so, like Thomas said at the very beginning of the show, you make such a mess and you hand it over to Donald Trump. What can you do? This is what and the Lord is behind all of that, man. All of that. Play. Let me read.
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
You think you got to figure it out like these dumb Christians that say, I'm saved in Jesus. Really? You saved? Really? You already saved? Read on.
To what end is it for you?
And that's the point. What end is it for you? What end is it for me? We're living in the very times towards the very end, all right? Let's go back to McGregor.
In other words, multiple warheads showering a target with great precision, annihilating everything with potentially a 50-mile radius. This is very serious stuff. I don't think Americans are aware of how seriously these threats that we have made and these attacks that we have sponsored and sought to execute have been taken in Russia. Remember, yesterday I told you that the nuclear forces of the Russian armed forces are in the highest state of alert that they've been in history.
You did.
They are serious.
Wait,
they are very worried.
Tech guys, I want you to rewind it just 5 to 10 seconds. That's it, if you can. So I'm going to take a trip down memory lane. If you recall, in the early 1960s, there was a scare in American history called the Cuban Missile Crisis. Remember, that was 17 years after the dropping of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And by the way, in 1962, they had more powerful bombs than they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now here it is, 79 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? Think about the nuclear technological advancements. And this is what he's saying. It's at the all-time high, worse than the Cuban Missile. The Cuban Missile Crisis, people in America were in so-called churches praying. They thought that it was going to happen. They did drills, even when I was in elementary school in the early 80s, where America thought that Russia was going to attack. And we would do nuclear bomb drills in school because we didn't have no tornadoes where I lived. We would have to go under our desks. Like that's going to do anything. But we would drill as if there was a war. Okay? So, play that again.
Nuclear forces of the Russian armed forces are in the highest state of alert that they've been in history.
You did.
They are serious. They are very worried. They think that we do want a war with them. They are convinced that we want to destroy them. Now, that may be true for some on the lunatic fringe in the White House or the Hill, but that is not true for the American people. It's not something they voted for. It's not something they want. And that's where we are right now. The churches in Russia.
Because if you took all of, say, 360 million people that live here in this country, I would argue to say that 95 to 99% do not want a nuclear war. But the people that make policies who are at the top of government, the Most High is using them to do all his will. Because I'm telling you, all these red states, what we showed on the map, Trump, I'll get in office 24 hours, I'll stop the war. All that rhetoric, I'm going to stop the war in 24 hours, get the troops home, get them out of Ukraine, stop the war in Israel, make America great again, bring back infrastructure, bring back jobs, tax all the imports, the exports going out, and all of that is good in theory. But how can you have a peaceful, prosperous America that's at peace with everybody? The prophecies would never come to pass. It'll never happen, y'all. Never. We almost done. Yep.
Are filling up. People are praying in Russia for peace. The government wants peace. Putin wants peace. They're not interested in attacking us or Western Europe. They never have been. But they are responding to what they see as an existential threat to the Russian society.
And that existential threat was they got hit on their Russian soil with Storm Shadow missiles and ATACMS, both operated and supplied to by Great Britain and the United States of America. Play the next timestamp for McGregor.
But that this device called the Oreshnik was fired in direct response to the American use of ATACMS inside Russia and the British use of Storm Shadows landing inside.
Right, and we covered that early in the show. So again, what we showed you was from yesterday. This is from like 3 hours ago. He's reporting this. Why? Because what he's talking about now is, again, the second part of the missile that Russia fired today at the Ukraine, which is flies at speeds of higher than Mach 5, which is an ICBM style missile, but they outfitted that missile with conventional non-nuclear warheads. But it's the same principle of launch pattern. That's why the satellites, the Ukrainians got it confused. They thought it was an IBCM nuclear because it had a 6-axle truck fire the damn thing. You see, I don't know if we showed like about 2 years ago, we showed parades in Russia with these big giant trucks going down the street. Mm-hmm. That's what they saw shooting, man. They're not playing games. We are. Jake, we are playing games. We playing games. Play on, y'all. We almost done with tonight's show.
Yes, this is unmistakable. This is a clear, unambiguous signal and message to us. Stop. The next round will not be conventional. The next rounds that fall on you could be nuclear. And we are prepared to do this. We will not submit to you. We will not surrender our sovereignty. We are Russians. We will fight. That's the message. Now, the real question for us is, what in the hell are we doing? We don't want to fight the Russians.
Colonel,
We've never wanted to do that.
I have to interrupt you. Russia is apparently taking seriously the statements by this Admiral Buchanan. And I'm now reading from Chris. I don't know who.
Google Rear Admiral Buchanan. Rear Admiral Buchanan. When Vladimir Putin put out a statement, said that we are at high nuclear alert. You had an admiral, which is the equivalent of a general in the Marine Corps, Army, or Air Force. A admiral is a top, the brass side, which is the officer side of the non-enlisted. This guy, show the picture. You got to be an Edomite. Please don't say he's a Jake. Okay, that's him. He's he made a statement, and the Russians took this statement as true. This guy's a young guy. Scroll down.
Yeah. All right. Rear Admiral Thomas R.T.R. Buchanan grew up in a Navy family. He is a native of Vallejo, California.
Do me a favor. I don't want to read all this, but I do appreciate it. I just want you to show his picture real quick. So this guy is he is a high rank. Look at all the ribbons on his lapel. Mm-hmm. He's a high-ranking, a naval officer, all right, one of the highest ranks you can get. The statement that this guy made, which, by the way, he's basically acting like a politician, which he should be completely court-martialed and stripped and kicked out of the friggin' forced to resign or whatever the case may be. So this guy made the following statement, and the Russians have interpreted that as war at a nuclear level with the United States. So watch what the judge says.
But it looks like it's Sky or RT. Russia urges the United States to exercise restraint after Pentagon statement on exchange of nuclear strikes. Kremlin spokesman reiterates commitment to prevent nuclear conflict, calls on the West to adopt similarly responsible stance. The Russians are being responsible. The Americans are being reckless to the nth degree.
Well, these 4 stars have been coddled and treated as something more than they are, as though they occupy a position on Mount Olympus. the president of the United States, and I don't know who that is right now because clearly I don't think President Biden knows what's going on, but certainly Lloyd Austin does. I don't know what his views are, but he ought to immediately inform this man to send in his papers. He is going to be retired from active duty immediately. He is removed from office. His deputy, whoever that is, should take over. That is the only action that will mean anything to the Russians. That needs to happen as soon as possible.
What kind of damage do you know this device, ICBM or whatever you want to call it, did?
Well, I don't know how exactly what the parameters of the damage is because this is a conventional warhead. Remember, these are weapons that were originally designed for nuclear warheads. They're hypersonic, they can't be shot down, and they're designed to shower a target with multiple warheads that are nuclear, which means it's an annihilating strike. We would have seen something that dwarfs Hiroshima. That's what people...
Pause. We showed you before on the Trident 2. What he's saying is that Putin is showing mercy. He touched Ukraine in a way that there's nothing they could do to defend themselves, and he used conventional warheads. They're designed for nuclear. And anything that they have today, even the lower grade nuclear bombs, are significantly more powerful than what hit Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This guy, I've never seen this guy worried like this before. He's always cool and calm. This dude is out of character right now. Remember, getting to this Christmas season, Esau is, we close, man. Play on. Go ahead, Thomas.
I was about to say, can I get one script, Cap? Let me get Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2, because he said that these people they treat these people like celebrities, like they're on Mount Olympus. And that's only due to the pride of who they think that they are. And they boast off the power that they got off of these nukes. They think that because they have this nuclear power that nobody can touch them. But guess what? Russia got nukes too. And they already, it's crazy the amount of mercy that Russia is showing to them. They modified a nuke just to show them, look, you can't stop this. Read that for me real quick.
The book of Obadiah, verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
This is why the other nations do not like Americans. They don't like the American government. They don't like what America stands for at all. Read on.
Thou art greatly despised.
These other nations hate America. They say we are greatly despised. Read.
The pride of thine heart has deceived thee.
This is why they are hated, because the pride of their mind has greatly deceived you. Meaning there's nothing or nobody that could tell them anything. In their mind, they're going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to accomplish their mission. Read on.
Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock.
Read.
Whose habitation is high. That saith
that do what?
That saith in his heart. Who shall bring me down to the ground?
That's what they thinking. They thinking that nobody is going to be able to touch them. They're going to manipulate this wall. They're going to get Russia into doing whatever they want to do, and we're not going to get no consequences from it.
Well stated. Well stated. And all of that, remember, you read Obadiah, right? Yeah. Where did Obadiah get his understanding? The Most High put that in him. So this is why when you read in the book of Romans 9, I want to get to it, about how he would harden the heart. He's hardening the heart of Netanyahu, right? By the way, we had some other content we're not going to get to. The International Court has issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu. And guess what? All the countries, guess who is the only veto? The United States. So it doesn't matter, even though they're trying to arrest this guy. I'm talking about Netanyahu and the Israel war. They're destroying all the Arabs and Palestinians over there. There's nothing the international white community can do to touch him. That shows you the Lord doing all that. Now, let's play McGregor out before we go to Lord back attack. We're actually doing good on time.
to understand. What you saw fall on Hiroshima or Nagasaki were modest in the scale of their destruction compared with what we would have seen if they'd put nuclear warheads on these missiles. This has got to stop. We don't want anything to happen like this. We want it to be over. This is not about who wins and who loses. Everyone loses in a nuclear exchange. We need to prevail upon these people in Kiev to stop. This government needs to stop. We need to get rid of any admirals or generals who are prepared to make reckless public statements. We've had this for too long. A lot of people today don't remember it. When Colin Powell was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, we had this General McPeak from the Air Force who made some reckless comments about reducing Iraq to ashes or a parking lot or something. The Air Force could win the war all on its own, didn't need anybody else. And he was removed just for saying that. And he was replaced by somebody named Fogelman. This is far more serious, Judge. This man is making pronouncements that the Russians think are policy pronouncements.
Why would they think that? Pause. Because this goes back to the pride of his heart, right? You've got in the U.S. Army structure, the president is what they call, his also parallel title is called the commander-in-chief, right? So the military takes the direct orders from the commander-in-chief. You don't have a 4-star general is way below the commander-in-chief. He's up there. He's not allowed to make statements on behalf of his country. That's what he did. Based upon that, Russia's like, okay, well, you must speak for them. And this is why McGregor's like, that dude should be friggin' ousted. But again, the Most High put it in this dude's spirit to say that, for Lavrov to hear that, and now the Russians. Listen, all it's going to take is the missile that they fired today. They have thousands of them. If one of them is outfitted with nuclear warheads, it's over. Because once one hits, I think we did a show before. It said if North Korea launched one nuclear missile, the U.S. would launch like 82 in return. Because the objective is to minimize damage in the U.S., you got to blow up all of North Korea. So it's the same thing. If Russia launched one, I'll give you an example. They hit the Ukraine with a conventional warheads. Let's say from Poland now, they launch missiles from Poland. And now Russia says, okay, mother effers, you give me a Storm Shadow and I attack them from there. They hit a conventional weapon that hits Poland. Now, again, Article 5 gets invoked. Now all of the NATO countries now come in alliance to defend that one country against the enemy, which is Russia. Once that happens, one more strike, Russia realizes we have all these enemies. The first, it doesn't matter if it's a gravity drop, the number 5, any of the missiles today have dramatically more power than, in Hiroshima, Nagasaki was no joke. It decimated those islands. So anything of that magnitude that's going to blow up, that's going to kill millions of people and injure more, one of those happen is going to be a chain reaction. And guess what? Putin was, it made mention that one of the targets could hit, I think they mentioned Westminster Abbey, which is, that's a place in London. So London, besides New York, is like is the financial capital of the world. London, New York, certain places. If they can hit London a lot quicker than they could hit the U.S. If they hit Poland, if they hit England, if they hit Spain or any of the other countries, as soon as you do that, France and all them they all got nuclear bombs. They're going to launch back. And guess what? We are going to meet our maker. And how do you want to meet your maker? Do you want it to be where we have an opportunity to live on? Or do you want it to be where you're going to be like the rich man from Lazarus and you're going to wake up and you wish there was a way out, and you're going to suffer and burn, and you're going to be in pain and torment, not for a day, not for 2 days, but forever. This is why we got to put down the pornography. We got to stop the hatred. We got to stop the lying. We got to learn to love one another. We got to learn to help each other. I'll give you an example. Right now, the place we're at right now, we have brothers working together to help a brother get his car back on the road. We all, brothers, sacrificing the time. We put our money together to come together and help our brothers. That's what we must do in these last days. We must support each other, help each other, and live these days out as God-fearing Israelites who keep the commandments. So when that time comes in Psalms 91, we will be under the protection of the Most High God and His Son, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We want that protection. So listen, next show, Lord's will, if we're here, listen, watch what's going to happen tonight, tomorrow, the next day. We've done the show when they blew up the damn Nord Stream pipeline. I don't know if you all remember that, right? And then the war started between Ukraine and Russia. At the beginning of the war, the U.S. says, we're not involved. We're just supplying weapons. And now they literally are on the news saying, yeah, we allowed the attackers. These guys are stupid. Are they stupid? Or is it a planned, coordinated effort by God? And all the diplomacy, all the political affiliation, all of the, we got to change it, all of it means nothing. So look, with that, brothers and sisters, we're on time. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's a lot. These guys, some people say is dry, like it's a lot of information, a lot of talking, but you have to hear it because they're not going to put these guys in mainstream. You got to search them out. You got to search guys out like this, all right? Because they're going to tell you like this. So with that, lower back attack, I got 2 videos. Shalom.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in.
Shalom, Israel, Most High and Christ bless. It's a quick lower back attack. Shout out to all the brothers that have gone from red to yellow and from yellow to green. I need you, men. We need you. We need you to keep pushing because a fit nation is a nation that could do more to push this truth. We need to become healthy together. So read Sirach 30, verse 15. Just like every year you hear the Christmas music, every year the dumb trees, they keep reminding you about this evil. We're going to keep reminding you about what we must do to not be a disgusting fatback lardass. Read.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold.
Health and a good estate of body are above all gold. That means the most expensive gold, health is better than that. Read on.
And a strong body above infinite wealth.
Show me one strong body, right, other than steroids, that didn't get that through proper health. To get a strong body, it is coupled with the first part of the scripture. We must read the first part again.
Health and a good estate of body.
Health is the first. It leads with health. Health leads to a good state of body. When you get a good state of your body, then you start doing a certain amount of exercises, you get that strong body. And also it goes into your immunity. Now read on.
Or above all gold.
And it's above all gold. Read on.
And a strong body.
That's right.
Above infinite wealth.
Infinite wealth. Think about all the wealth you can imagine. Take Donald Trump's money, all the Saudi Arabian prince's money, all the money from Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. Put that in and multiply that by 100. You still don't got all the money. The Lord says your health and a strong body is better than all that. So if we know that, why do we have fat men walking around IUIC still? I got some brothers in New Orleans right now. You tell them 6 months ago, yeah, I'm trying. You full of crap, man. That's why you can't get a wife. because you're fat as hell and you look like a fat slob. But guess what? You can fix it. Every one of you. And some brothers right now like, damn, yes, I'm not like them because I'm not a fat giant slob. Why would you want to be a slob when you can fix your health by applying basic principles? I got some answers for you tonight. Read on.
There is no riches above a sound body.
Come on.
And no joy above the joy of the heart.
Right. If you're unhealthy and got all type of problems and ailments, you're telling me you're truly happy? You're happy. You may have all the money in the world and got a private plane, but you are so miserable because you are very unhealthy. Read on.
Death is better than a bitter life.
Verse 25, we're going to go to 2 videos.
Verse 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
So having a care of his meat and diet is directly related to your health. If you have a care, meaning you are going to pay it. If I care about something, right? If I have a baby, right? All of us who are fathers in here, we had a baby, and I know that I didn't like holding my son when he's real little. Because we as fathers, we don't want to, we want to make sure everything's right. We really care about little babies. And we don't just put anything in that baby mouth. Matter of fact, you ask your way, hey, was this good? You want to check everything, read every label. But when it comes to you, you don't care. So you have to start treating yourself like you would treat your infant son or daughter. My body's important, just like my baby's body's important. I am going to make sure everything I put in it is going to benefit this. Just like you do not put regular gas in a diesel truck. You do not put diesel in a regular octane gasoline. You cannot do that. So then why are we putting the wrong fuel in our temples? You know why? Because you eat like your enemies. That's the problem. Now, let's go to the first video. This is a doctor, and he's actually speaking at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, and he's getting on the society and the stupid American food pyramid and how we have to completely revisit the way that we deal with nutrition. Let's hear the doctor. Play.
Can we be real for a second? We have poisoned our food supply, engineered highly addictive chemicals that we put into our food. We spray it with pesticides that kill pests. What do you think they do to our gut lining and our microbiome? And then they come in sick. The GI tract is reacting. It's not an acute inflammatory storm. It's a low-grade chronic inflammation. And it makes people feel sick. We've done a terrible thing to doctors. We've told them, put your head down, focus on billing and coding. We're going to measure you by your throughput. And good job. You did a nice job. We have all these numbers to show for it. Well, the country is getting sicker. We cannot keep going down this path. We have the most over-medicated, sickest population in the world. And no one is talking about the root causes. Somebody has got to speak up. Maybe we need to talk about school lunch programs, not just putting every kid on obesity drugs like Ozempic. Maybe we need to talk about treating diabetes with cooking classes, not just throwing insulin at everybody.
So
maybe we need to
what he's talking about is diabetes 2. Forgive me, I'm tired, y'all. Diabetes 2 is a completely controllable disease. He said Ozempic. You know, it's funny. It's not funny. It's horrible that you have what they called child onset diabetes. Child diabetes, not adult. Children are becoming obese and catching diabetes. When the relationship between diabetes is linked to insulin. Insulin is a hormone. How do you get diabetes 2? When you keep eating very frequently high carbohydrates that are processed, that are designed for starvation foods. The way you preserve foods, like the crap that you fat asses eat every day, that was supposed to be kept on the shelf for starvation food when you break it out when there's nothing else left because you can preserve it on the shelf. We're supposed to be consuming less frequently. That's why I tell you, lard asses, a fat man should never eat more than one time a day. Now talk to your doctor. Kevin Shem, no, you talk to your doctor first. But you have all this fat on you. Fat is, the terminology for fat is 1 calorie. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So the average person that, say a man that's 6 foot, he may need he may need 2,500 calories a day. So if you don't eat for the day and you do no working out and you just drank water, you would burn 2,500 calories. So it's, in theory, a lot of you don't even need to eat once a day. Start out with once a day, drink water throughout the day, eat a low carbohydrate meal. In a series of time, you fix your insulin, which helps you become insulin sensitive, which then what happens? You can reverse these health problems. The doctor said it. You cannot eat all the time. That's your problem. You are eating 3 to 5 Oreo cookies a meal. So start with, take all your food and try to eat it in 2 meals in, say, 4 hours. So then the next time you're going without any food is 20 hours later. If you just did that alone, that would help you immensely. Now let's go ahead and take out the highly processed foods and the sugars. Let's implement like meats, eggs. Okay, when I say meats, grass-fed, if you can get it, better quality egg, if you can get it. Sardines. Let's do a lot of vegetable. But find out what vegetable, if certain vegetables bother, you can't do that. Rinse off your fruits and vegetables. They're spraying crap to kill us, man. We got to work on that. If we make these choices, we give ourselves a better chance to survive. We're sick, man. We're sick. And guess who's the worst out of all that? Black Americans, we are the worst of those statistics. The worst. Look at our women. Our women are the weakest ones. They're the worst women on the planet is Black American women. They're the best women in the world, but they're the worst in health. And, well, Esau's, they look like disgusting moose as well, but it's horrible. Anyways, brothers and sisters, look, it's the same, like Deacon Abbey, it's the same two-step. We're going to keep talking about it, but the goal is this. In the next year and a half now, or year and 2/3 from now, every single one of the ranked men in IUIC is going to get into the green at a normal body fat percentage. And when we do that, all of the new men of valor men that come through, all of them are going to graduate green. And the handful of you fat back lard asses that refuse to get healthy, you're just going to be the guys over there, the fat ones over there, because there's going to be no more fat men left tonight. It's going to go away now. And then when we're done with that, we're going to take a hard right or left in this case, and we're going to go and we're going to deal with them women. You cannot tell a sister she can't be fat and out of shape and not eat healthy when you yourself are disgusting, fat, and unhealthy. So with that, let's not be hypocrites. Most High and Christ bless. Shalom.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling.
Hey, give alms. Give alms at your local school. Drop an envelope in the alms box to give online via PayPal at IUIC.NewOrleans at IsraelUnite.org. All right. Also, let's make sure we give into the Booster Club via PayPal at IUIC fundraising at IsraelUnite.org. All right, make sure y'all donate to the Booster Club, all right? Text to donate at 646-982-3858, all right? By scanning the QR code.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Look, I know a lot of times it's not meant to destroy when I talk like this, when you hear we talk about people being fat, we actually truly care and love our people, and we know that you being obese and having these diseases that you can control, it's not the best you. That's not you. We're above all people. So when we get on you, like a lot of brothers that we deal with behind the scenes, yes, we break them down, but I'm always building brothers up behind, always trying to help. I've donated thousands of hours of free coaching. I've helped brothers because I want to help my people. You should want to help your people. So all you fat lard asses that lose all the weight, help your people out. With that, We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Thomas.
Officer Zadiah.
All right. Israel, thanks for sticking with us. Next week, Precept upon Precept. Watch the news. Pray. Watch and pray. A lot's going down this next couple of days. Shalom.
There's a special place that I like to go with nobody's home to increase my understanding. My daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line. Precept on precept, line upon line. Babe, I can't keep explaining, can't study for you.